見えるか。天輪が傾くのが。
In Bleach, there are dozens of overpowered characters who could take over the world if they wanted, from the protagonist Ichigo Kurosaki to the legendary Head Captain Yamamoto Genryusai. The series never holds back in its portrayal of such iconic characters. However, one character who is often overlooked is Yhwach's right-hand man and Wandenreich's Sternritter Grandmaster, Jugram Haschwalth. With its regal attire and European appearance, Jugram is the personification of what one would expect from the Quincy, pristine, holy and angelic. His long golden hair paired with his white attire perfectly captures his prideful and elegant personality. As the secondary antagonist of the series, one would expect great things from him, and Jugram lives up to fans' expectations with his immeasurable strength. At the beginning of Bleach's 1000-year Blood War arc, fans only get a glimpse of Jugram's powers when he easily destroys Ichigo's Bankai, and that scene alone speaks volume about his strength. However, even that brief moment is more than enough to demonstrate the sheer breadth of his terrifying abilities. Jugram Haschwalth has an arsenal of powerful and useful techniques that make him indispensable to Yhwach. He only appears in one arc in the series, and that too with minimal screen time, but this is enough to intensify the story even further. The origins of Jugram Haschwalth. Although it's unclear exactly when Jugram Haschwalth met Yhwach for the first time, it can be assumed that the event occurred over 1000 years ago. A story flashback introduced the audience to a young Jugram, who was depicted as shy, self-effacing, and completely unable to control his own spiritual powers. Jugram and Busby spent some time training together, becoming extremely close friends in the process. Although Buzz occasionally teased Jugram for his noticeable weakness, there was never anything but love shared between them. A few months after their meetings, Busby was shocked to learn that his hometown has been incinerated by Yhwach's conquering armies. Angered, he made a promise to destroy Yhwach, inevitably dragging Haschwalth into this path of vengeance. Unfortunately, Haschwalth could never quite get his powers working, and Busby believed him to be the incomplete Quincy. To everybody's surprise, Yhwach ended up choosing Haschwalth as his lieutenant, going so far as to call the boy his other half. When Jugram Haschwalth weakly attempted to suggest Busby's name for the job, Yhwach disregarded his concern, stating that Busby only had powers because of his proximity to Haschwalth. Haschwalth should have technically been involved in Yhwach's first battle with the original Gote 13, but the anime didn't include him in the scene. Yhwach lost the fight to Yamamoto and Chojiro, and his forces were decimated. That said, Jugram Haschwalth must have been lurking in the background somewhere, perhaps even preparing for the 1000-year gap before Yhwach was prophesied to awaken once more. Aside from these details, the story doesn't really expand on how Haschwalth obtained his unique abilities in the first place. Spirit Weapon and Designation B, the Balance. Jugram Haschwalth's Spirit Weapon, Front Shield, and his The Balance Rib are what make him such a formidable combatant. Front Shield is the German version of Friend Shield, which can also be read as Sacrifice or Substitute Shield. The shield is formed on his left arm with his Reisi. As the one responsible for maintaining balance in the world, Jugram can take misfortune within a sphere of influence and transfer it to those who are unfortunate, more specifically his enemies. Jugram compiles all the misfortunes that are directed to him into his front shield. Therefore, unlike any conventional shield, front shield does not protect him from physical attacks. Instead, it absorbs all personal misfortunes, including the injuries he sustains in battle. Jugram can use the same ability as Yhwach, the Almighty. Yhwach's claim of Jugram Haschwalth being his other half isn't purely to create hype. There is a reason a shrewd character like Yhwach places so much trust in Jugram and always keeps him by his side. Jugram can supposedly use the legendary ability known as the Almighty. Yhwach inherits this ability from the Soul King himself and shares it with his most loyal subordinate. The Almighty has specific meaning in the series, all-knowing and all-powerful, two features also associated with the primary deity in Abrahamic religion. The all-knowing hero stands for the ability to see the future. The user can know all possible future at once and act accordingly using the knowledge gained by foresight. On the other hand, all-powerful is the ability to alter the future into whatever outcome he desired, even to the point of rewriting one's death. As a true Quincy, Yhwach can use both of these abilities. However, Jugram Haschwalth can foresee the future but does not possess the power to alter it. Nonetheless, this still gives him an unfair advantage in battle, since he knows how his opponents are going to attack when this ability is active. Jugram's power amplification and offensive abilities. Apart from the almighty, Jugram Haschwalth shares one more similarity with the Quincy King. He and Yhwach are the only known Quincies with the ability to impart their powers to other Quincies. As fans know by now, Quincies have the natural ability to absorb racy from the surroundings. However, Jugram could only imitate his racy during his childhood. As he grows old, he gradually develops the ability to absorb racy as well. As such, he can help his allies by sharing the ridiculous amount of spiritual power he has. In the manga, Jugram is able to amplify Basby's powers significantly. Further, Jugram claims that he is more suited to battle than Yhwach. He has excellent reflexes and is a skilled swordsman and archer. He uses a broadsword with which he is able to efficiently slice Ichigo's Bankai Tensa Zangetsu in half. Jugram Haschwalth can also shoot energy blasts from his sword, which has 4 points that curve back on each side. Jugram's Shadow Portal can summon a passageway to the Royal Palace. Sosuke Aizen schemes and hurts others for centuries just to have a chance at entering the Royal Palace, which is known to be impossible to invade. However, for someone like Jugram Haschwalth, it's simply a walk in the park. Shadow is typically a teleportation ability that is unique to Quincy's, notably members of the Wandenreich. To summon a passageway to the Royal Palace, Jugram draws his sword and raises it over his head. The sword then shines a light from its tip and casts a white hegel rune on the ground. Haschwalth, Yhwach, and Uryu travel to the Royal Palace using this method in the form of beam of light that releases a discharge of energy strong enough to blow away and separate the surrounding combatants. Jugram's keen intellect and observational skills. Jugram Haschwalth has extremely high intellectual and observational skills, as he can deduce his enemy's strengths and weaknesses at a single glance. For example, Jugram is able to figure out that Yamamoto's flames aren't actually flames, but simply the overwhelming racy bursting from his body. He also deduces a well-laid-out trap in Nanohisa's barrier that was supposed to seal him. Further, when Yhwach declares Uryu his successor, Jugram is easily able to figure out the former's intention. Jugram claims that he and Yhwach are two sides of the same coin. Therefore, he instantly realizes that Yhwach is simply putting Uryu on a pedestal just so others will keep an eye out for him. Despite his strength and intellect, Jugram meets his doom at Yhwach's hound's hand. On a positive note, he willingly heals Uryu's wound, consequently allowing the latter to help defeat Yhwach.